Hey peeps, I have got an update for you on my content site investment. Last month, month 7, we actually had some revenue, 930 bucks in revenue. So we're going to go through here. We'll take a look at my total investment in the content, the SEMrush trend, Search Console, Google Analytics, and the revenue and where that's coming from. Just to give you a little bit of a backstory on this, basically what I did is I took a website that was about 1 year old, 7 months ago it was about 1 year old, and it had just kind of been a content dump of a website for team members that I had that wanted to earn some extra money, or we needed to kind of fill up their hours, be like, hey, write some blog posts for this website. And it was just basically a random ass content dump. I don't want to say random, like they stuck to the, we kept it to the niche, but there was no research, no planning behind it. So published a bunch of content on there. A year into it, I'm like, all right, let me make a concerted effort at kind of refining this content and actually structuring content and publishing a lot of new content consistently, targeting keywords and such. You can look for some of my videos. I'll put a link below to the video I did on keyword research and what I'm doing for that process, right? So 7 months ago, we actually started taking this seriously and operating this like I don't want to say like a professional niche site, but yeah, I guess like a professional niche site or with some structure and whatnot, and jumped into it like that. And now last month, that would be the first month we monetized at 930 bucks in revenue. So let me go through some numbers with you guys here. First up, the content and the investment. Here's where we can see how much has been invested into this. 57,802 bucks. And this is basically broken up between standard blog posts that are like 1,250 words or so, and then long form posts. In the long form posts, they were going to be attacking some very big keywords. They'd be, say, 4,000 to 10,000 words long, and then we would get custom graphics for them. All right, so they would be these true like skyscraper pieces. That's what Brian Dean would refer to them as, skyscraper pieces. They were truly that. We would usually spend more money on the writers. We'd pay like 8 to 10 cents per word for these long form posts. Mind you, again, 4,000 to, I think the longest one is like close to 10,000 words. And then we would get, a few hundred bucks, not a few hundred bucks, but several hundred bucks worth of custom graphics into it. So all in on these long form posts, we were going for like 1,500 bucks, and they were attacking search queries that really had more than 5,000 monthly searches as measured by SEMrush. Some of them had close to about 30,000. And then the standard posts, these were just attacking keywords with we were attacking lower volume keywords with 1,200 word posts, and they would just kind of get some formatting and custom graphics. So, or not custom graphics, stock images. The long form posts would get custom graphics. So here's what you can see we've invested in, so far, ultimately totaling up to $57,802. You can see our standard posts that we're publishing here. It kind of spiked up in September, and since then it has basically been on I don't want to say downward trend, but we've kind of settled in the high 30s. I'm not sure at the moment if I'm going to go more aggressive than that or not. I guess we'll talk about that in the strategy coming up. Anyways, this is the money that's been invested into it here and ultimately where it's gone. I guess if we were to average this out, probably going to be an average of about $7,000 a month, low 7,000s a month that has been invested. I guess I could have just done 7 divided by 57. What is that? That's not 7. Well, I was going to pull out a calculator and do it. I'm not going to do it. But yeah, that's 7 times 7. Oh, I guess that is about $7,000, a little more than $7,000 a month on average. All right. Yeah, anyways, enough with my in my head math here. Let's go on. We can see SEMrush. We have a positive trend. So right here is about when we started making this investment. And things have been pretty much going up, except for March. It's showing down a little bit. I will say that for the last 3 weeks, the traffic's been about stagnant, as we'll see when we look at Google Analytics. But the cool thing is SEMrush shows growth. And then Search Console. Okay, so there's been a reversal in Search Console. And the last time I made a video, I think, which would have been January, I was kind of showing it here. And I'm like, hey, look, our actual clicks are going down, right? Like our clicks peaked in, say, May, before I even started making a concerted effort. And then things have been kind of going down. But our impressions are going up, right? So basically everything that I'm showing here is kind of like a vanity metric. That's what I was saying in January, but I said, hey, with the seasonal trend, I'm pretty sure this is going to reverse. The other issue, or not issue, but the other thing I can point out here is that the traffic we were getting here really had no monetization value, right? This was like random untargeted traffic. We weren't considering our conversion event or affiliate promotions or anything like that. So it had very low value to it. In some of the pages that were pulling in this traffic here, or all the pages, I guess I'll say this, I know this, all the pages that were deriving traffic here in the top 10 are not in the top 10 of traffic deriving pages now. So we've shifted to getting traffic from targeted keywords that have been targeted because they can ultimately, derive revenue from us more strongly than these ones were here. So, we kind of filtered out. We filtered out a lot of the content and the traffic that was valueless, and we've started actively targeting traffic that has more value. Mind you, being a paid ads guy, if you look at any of my videos on paid advertising, probably know what I'm about to say. You cannot target traffic with value. You cannot target valuable traffic organically like you can with paid ads. While I tout $930 in revenue here in the last 7 months from paid advertising that we're running through funnels on this website, this is maybe revenue for 15 minutes, literally. Some days, probably most days at this time of the year, that's about 15 minutes worth of revenue, so yeah, organic versus paid traffic. At my heart, I am a paid traffic guy through and through, but I am having a lot of fun with this organic content project here. And that said, it is another diversified revenue stream, another value-added revenue stream. So I am reinvesting paid traffic profits, right? That's what that is, back into the organic traffic. Anyways, this is going to be a video on the progress here and on organic, not on revenue versus, or not on paid versus organic traffic. So yeah, you can see that our clicks, which is the blue line, has been trending up since basically Christmas, which is normal. In this market, the holiday time period of the year is really decline, then things spike up here in the spring. So we're catching that nicely. Our impressions continue to go up. So all looks good here in Search Console. In Google Analytics, I've got it set on a weekly basis. I did not install Google Analytics until like the middle of August. So you're seeing, no data there, incomplete data. And that would be our first full week of Google Analytics installed on the website. You can see we kind of follow the trend downwards, reflective of Search Console. And then we kind of climb back up here. And, the last 2 weeks, it's kind of been about level. No real upward trend there. I'm not worried about that. Things happen. Just got to keep, got to stick to the system, which is publishing content, which we have done here. So let's go on to the fun stuff. Let's talk about the revenue. What I did was I added CTAs for affiliate/lead generation into 7 pages. So I basically looked at like the top 25 highest pages that were getting traffic in Google Analytics, getting organic traffic. And mind you, this is my Google Organics. This is my Google Analytics organic only traffic here, or traffic coming from a source of organic. The website actually gets much, much, much more traffic, but that's all coming from paid advertisement sources. So this is just my Google Analytics, or my Google Organic. Organic Analytics, so confusing to say. All right, so anyways, I looked at my pages. I basically looked at the top 25 pages of Google organic traffic, or organic Google traffic. Yeah, I was thinking in my head, I'm like, what is the right way to say that? Of top 25 pages of Google organic traffic. And I basically picked 7 of them, and that wasn't like a defined number. I basically just picked a few and said, hey, I'm going to optimize a few pages and put in some links into either affiliate or lead gen pages. And some of my lead gens kind of work like affiliates, where my tracking pixels are on my lead buyer's website and I run the ads into their funnels. It really depends on the type of lead. So anyways, the concept is still the same, lead gen or affiliate. The concept is still the same. I got to drive the user to take an action on a page that ultimately has value. So I picked 7 pages here. I am concealing the page names, and some people might ask, why don't you just share, the page names or the niche? And I have to say that it has not been rewarding sharing my business, like the actual business insight for an online business, because ultimately what happens is you get a bunch more people competing in it. And you guys know that I do run paid advertisements. So in some of these verticals, I am the only person running paid advertising on some of these platforms, which I do talk about here on this, on my YouTube channel. And I also run very unique creative, that I don't want to say unique creative, but unique copy, really, that nobody else is running. And I take some unique approaches to it that even my big lead buying partners, right, like they could come into the space and they could do it, but they're too big to really analyze and reverse engineer what I'm doing. In sharing it, I think a lot of people out there on YouTube, and I know a lot of people would because I have shared websites that I'm working on and stuff. And suddenly you start sharing it, and a few people start doing the same thing you're doing, and now it takes my paid traffic audience and cuts it in half, right? Or it takes. I don't want to say it takes a paid traffic audience and cuts it in half, but you have two people competing with the same style copy and the same style offer for the same audience. Fundamentally, you reduce things by about 50%. So ultimately what I'm saying is it's not in my best interest to share this content and to share the specifics of my site and my content and risk having people reverse engineering what I'm doing. At least not for what I'm doing here. I don't have any info product to sell. I have no real monetization value behind building my subscribers on YouTube. And well, if you can't appreciate the value in what I'm sharing and you are disappointed that I don't share my actual website name, simply just don't subscribe to my channel or just click next. But I'm very confident, and the feedback that I've gotten is a lot of people get a lot of valuable insight, even when I'm concealing this information here. That said, I feel like if someone is selling a course or a product or something, they should disclose the websites that they're using in the actual business name. I don't give credence to anyone selling a product without disclosing that, but hey, I am not selling a product here. So anyways, yes, I'm concealing the page names. These are the 7 pages, and here's the organic visitor count. All right, so 599, 273, 308, then 652 down here. If I were going from largest to smallest, that would be up at the top, but I, for some reason, forgot to put that one on there. The number of conversions it had, and then the conversion value. And they're going increments of 10, so we got 40, 30, 30, 40, 10, 10, and then the revenue. So the conversion count multiplied by the value equals the revenue from that page. So the highest performing page here by organic visitors got 18 conversions, but the value was only $10 each on each conversion. So it generated $180. This page here, which was second highest, it got 11 conversions, and that is basically about a 2% conversion rate on it. Down here, this is like 2.75%. But the conversion value here was $40. So that generated $440 in revenue. So yeah, my conversion value does vary from page to page. We might have some there are some offers that are like less than $5, but I really wouldn't, or not less than $5, but right at the $5 point. There's also some at the $20 point, but I wouldn't go for the $5 offers. I wouldn't really waste my time sticking them into organic unless the pages had a ton of traffic. I guess I was going to add some other details in there about the breakdown of lead generation and affiliate, but these are nationwide numbers. Lead generation can vary based on state, city, zip code, all those other elements, right? So basically what I'm doing here is taking a minimal average, right? I know that anywhere in the country, anywhere in the United States, on average, my value is going to be at least $40 for them. So anyways, these are the numbers based on the values and the revenue. So for these 7 pages, we generated $930 in revenue. And then if you were to add up all of the organic visitors, and do this on a revenue per 1,000 visitors, this is about like 2,300 visitors, I think, if you add this all up, you get $409.51 per 1,000 visitors. That number is fucking huge, right? You might also hear this expressed as revenue per mil representing million. I forget exactly what the connection is there, but mil in some way represents 1,000. I was going to say millennium, but that's a million, right? Millennium, mil is, yeah, millennium's 1,000 years. Okay. But then I'm also thinking like million in my head. Anyways, mil is 1,000. So you hear revenue per mil. That's the same thing. Revenue per 1,000 here. You hear that a lot with display advertisers. And I know that in my niche, revenue per 1,000 with display ads would probably be about $25 plus or minus a couple bucks. So say it could be $22 to $28 per 1,000. Here I'm at $409, which is fucking huge, like really huge. And that's why I am investing heavily into content. That's why I'm very heavily convicted to this project. That's why I really don't mind, what my traffic is ultimately doing here, as long as that was the older graph. What my traffic is ultimately doing, as long as in time it is growing. There's a lot of opportunity here because my revenue per 1,000 visitors is so high, far higher than it could get with display advertisings. This is just here on these 7 pages. So now, in terms of website valuation, right? Websites are valued on a multiple of their monthly earnings, typically averaged over the last 6 months. And that number fluctuates. I think on the low side, you would see a 36x multiple for like a kind of run-of-the-mill standard-ass affiliate website that's got a bunch of low-quality content on there. It's got a bunch of backlinks supporting it, and it ultimately has no brand. What I'm doing here is building a brand. We do have a Facebook group that's interactive for the actual website. We've got the paid ads. We've got some branded search traffic that has actually started creeping up, right? So I think we would be on the higher side of things. Maybe a well-branded website, gosh, the numbers, I guess, are infinite. Some of the big brands go for probably well over 100x, but on the smaller side of things, maybe 72x, right? Double the valuation of your, kind of thin affiliate website that still makes money. So yeah, let's just say that I make a 40x valuation here on $409. What is that? Or excuse me, on $930. 409 is my revenue per 1,000. My total revenue for the month, though, and earnings was 930. So we did 930 times 40. It's going to be 37,200. So we could say here that my website is valued at 37,200. I mean, to get that number, we need to make this number for about 6 months, and I don't have any reason to believe this is going to decline. I only believe this is going to increase as we keep investing in content here and building the community, building the brand, etc. So while I have invested $57,802 in it, I now have, based on a website valuation, an equity valuation of $37,200. That's one thing I think that's important to consider here when it comes to building a business. A lot of people like to look at it in terms of cash flow. Okay, you invested $50,000, but you're only getting $930 in cash flow. Yeah, that's just one part of the equation. What about the equity valuation that you have on top of that? So now I've got $930 in cash flow, but just on this website alone, not considering its value as it's paired with all of my paid advertising and lead generation stuff, and the technology we have facilitating things on the back end, just the website on organic traffic alone would be valued at $37,200. So I'm still not out of the red on my organic content investment, but I am getting there. So I'm really happy with this progress here. I'm happy with it. It excites me, but again, this is still a really, really small, like just speck of sand, in the grand scheme of what I do in terms of paid advertising. And it's also a painfully long and slow, tedious process. I've said this in some other videos, but fundamentally, I would not consider a business model that cannot drive business and support itself on paid advertising sources. The way I look at it here is any of the revenue that I get from Google is just kind of like a nice icing on the cake type of thing. All right, so what do I got going forward? Well, the strategy shift is no more long form content. So if we go back to the first slide, or second slide, first slide would have been my intro. Second slide, I had these long form, and we can see that they're kind of going off because I stopped doing them in November. I feel like there's some in here that I've forgotten about or something, or maybe we added graphics to them. I feel like I've been doing work on it, but ultimately, I'm getting more value from the standard posts. All of these ones here that are generating revenue are what I would call standard posts. They're really no more than 1,500 words. So the long form ones are targeting some very high value keywords, and when we publish them, they kind of settle, right? Or they kind of just pop up in like the top 50, and then they've all settled on like page 3 or 4. Right? So they're settling on page 3 or 4 for a keyword that gets 20,000 plus searches. A lot of search volume behind them. But page 3 or 4 gets zero traffic. You don't really get any traffic or any money until it's on page 1. So it's like, you publish them and within 1 week they're on page 3 or 4, but it's like they're just kind of anchored there and they haven't moved up. So I'm really not getting any value from these long form posts that have all gotten maybe, I don't know, say on the low side, $1,200 to the high side, $2,000 of investment. So we are not doing any more long form posts. We are going to more of the short form content, and some of that is kind of becoming derived from the long form content. Like, for example, let's just say that I wanted to do, I wanted to go for German Shepherd training, right? What we had done was we would have done a long form post on German Shepherd training, but now we're really kind of breaking these down into really granular topics and just doing separate posts on them. So we might do, training for a 1-year-old German Shepherd, training for a 2-year-old German Shepherd, how to train a German Shepherd attack dog, how to train a German Shepherd to protect your kids, how to potty train a German Shepherd, how to bark train a German Shepherd, right? So we're kind of breaking them down and going a lot more granular as opposed to doing the long form topics. So some of the long form pieces we have are actually going to be abandoned. I'm doing a little bit of a test right now. I've picked 3 of them that we're actually doing pretty good. And the 3 of them were actually on 3 of my highest traffic keywords, the ones that I've seen the most opportunity. We're going to kind of disabandon the long form post and publish on a bunch of little breakdowns that would ultimately add up to that long form post, or that may have been a subheading in that long form post there. And keeping all those at 800 to 1200 words. I'm not going to say we might, I will proceed on with the custom graphics. First, we'll just publish them as text, and then I'll pick some out and do custom graphics. So like one custom graphic, like one custom infographic for each one of the standard posts that's really comprised of a bigger long form post. And that's what I'm going to go for there. And even in that, like, let's just go back to the German Shepherd example. I said, take the German Shepherd topic and maybe, we could do a blog post on German Shepherd training for 1-year-old German Shepherds, or how to train your 1-year-old German Shepherd. That post could end up ranking for German Shepherd training. Like, it is not far-fetched. It's completely realistic, even though it would be unplanned. And that's the thing about, that's the whole thing about Google organic traffic and getting organic search traffic, is everything is basically unplanned. Like, all you can really do is identify low competition keywords, and create good content on those keywords. But some things are going to happen totally fucking randomly. You don't really know what is ultimately going to happen. Like, we've published, you can come back here and you can see we published whatever the total count of posts is here, probably about 450 of them. And then there's already like 250 other posts on the website. But we've got these 7 pages here that were picked for monetization, and these 7 pages are getting relatively high traffic. There's no way you can prepare for that. And some of the posts that we've published that I thought would be great, like the keyword shows by all metrics low competition, we published a really good post on it. They've gone nowhere and they've gotten no traffic. Maybe in time that'll change. But yeah, you really have no control over it. Things happen kind of at random. So anyways, big strategy shift, no more long form content. We will be using some custom graphics on the standard post. Number 2, we are allowing comments on the website. So this is just your standard WordPress comments. I am using Thrive theme, so I'm using the Thrive comments, which is basically a modified and glorified WordPress comment system. But I'm allowing comments on the website. We are getting quite a few comments, like 3 or 4 of them a day. People asking questions, people sharing their 2 cents and opinion. Now, my thought behind that is, number 1, it's going to get engagement, right? Which is what I want to do. That's going to build user signals and send that back to Google. Google is in some way going to say, hey, people are interacting on this page. And then number 2, it's also adding new content to the page, right? So when Google crawls it again, there's something new there for them to crawl. So I think those 2 factors will add up and ultimately benefit and boost the search traffic and the amount of search traffic that gets sent to our website from Google. I don't know how Google, and no one really knows how unless you're an engineer at Google, and in that case you've signed 10 pages of non-disclosure agreements. I don't think anyone really knows how Google measures user interaction on the website. Like, can Google tell when somebody clicks that submit button on the comment post? Can they tell when they click a link and go to another page? No one really knows. I believe that they can, because they have the Chrome browser. Google's also heavily integrated into like Android and stuff. And I think Chrome is the default browser on an Android. I don't know. I don't use an Android, but they could get those metrics through their browser, right? Like they could tell how many, in-content clicks somebody makes on a website. It's not far-fetched. And my theory is that they are using that data in some way, although they, don't come out and explicitly say that. So yeah, and I have seen that in some of my other websites that I've worked on, some of my local business websites and stuff, pages that allow comments do tend to get more traffic over time. So yeah, we've already started allowing comments. We're getting the comments on there. And now it's really actually a problem kind of moderating and responding to the comments, because some of the people ask questions, and this could be an article that's very well written, but it was written by an outsourced service provider, and myself nor anyone on my team has any clue what to actually answer. So then we have to do some research and come up with an answer. But we're going to do that, and I'm very confident that's going to add a lot of value. And then identify more posts to monetize. One thing I've observed is that the best performing post doesn't look conversion optimized. So if we come back here, this one and this one have the highest conversion rate. Like conversion rate here is like 2%. Conversion rate here is like almost 3%. And in this, when I was doing kind of some conversion optimization and adding my links into these things, some of them, these two, actually, I left very bland, right? Like I basically just put like, get a quote for insurance here. Text link. That's it. No buttons. Whereas some of these other ones, I kind of put buttons in there and stuff like that and really kind of stressed the call to action. And interestingly, and this was kind of my thought going into it from other things I've done, the more minimal call to action, just in context links, are actually getting the highest conversion rates. So that's my observation, and I plan to go through and identify more posts to optimize, because this is only 7 of like 700 posts on the website, and there are other posts that are getting more traffic than some of these. I mean, these two are, I don't know if they're my top 2, but they're certainly in the top 5 in traffic, probably top 4 in traffic. But there's other posts in here between them all, that are in the top 25 in traffic that have no monetization on them. So I want to go through and identify some more pages to monetize, and then ultimately keep adding to that. Just in adding monetization here, if I took a few hours and did it, I could probably double my revenue instantly on here. So, that is one thing to point out. So I guess maybe I should plan a day and do that. And yeah, I think that is basically about it. You guys have seen the traffic. You guys have seen my plans. You guys have seen the revenue. So that is a wrap on this month 7 update of my massive content investment. What do you guys think? If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'm signing off on this one, guys.